So we've got Word open to a blank document. Go ahead and we'll create a new one. We can shut off this little hazard thing here. Most of the things that I'm going to show you here today will be found up in this tab section up here. Not the menu section, but the tab section. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to do is I want to put in a title page. So Word is really fun that way. If you go to Insert, the Insert tab, and it'll have pages over on the left, okay? Go there. And if I click on that and do a cover page, I can have all kinds of choices. Look at all that stuff. So many choices. They don't have the plain one. Well, I suppose this is close to plain. I'm a kind of a plain person, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to select Document here, and you can now just click on these little title boxes, and you can type. So I'm going to type my topic. I would like to do Wilhelm Röntgen. Anybody choose him? Nobel Prize, I think, for the X-ray, discovery of the X-ray tube. And my document subtitle, maybe we put chemistry, given the class that we're doing here. And see, I logged in with, I think, Microsoft Word, the Office 365, so it automatically populates the name section at the bottom. But if you wanted to put your name in there, I think you can adjust that from within the tabs here. Or maybe not. I could always do a text box, or I could put my name up here. Well, yeah, maybe here. There, yeah, it's sort of going up there. And then I can make that larger. Okay, so put in my name. Okay, so that's a title page, right? Also, generally when you are writing a paper, it's nice to have a table of contents. And so, wouldn't you guess, Microsoft Word allows us to do that too. If you look under References, there should be a box for Table of Contents, okay? So I made a new page. You can add a page break, or you can just do hard returns until you get to the top of your next page. But I'm going to click then on Table of Contents. Oh, why not? I'll go Contemporary. Now it says, creating a table of contents, start by applying a heading style. Fine, it's just a memo, so I'll just do OK. Right now I don't have anything in here, right? All I've got is a title page and a table of contents. In order for that table of contents to be populated, I need to have certain items, you know, like sections perhaps, introduction, conclusion, things like that. So my next step will be to add my first page of content. So I'll go to the Insert tab, and I'll do Pages, and I'll do Page Break. So that's going to give me a fresh page with which I can now put the table of the first parts of the paper. So this is page 3 now. I'll stop there for a second. Have I lost anybody? Okay. Well, now here's the trick, you see. If you want your table of contents to be populated with the various items, you have to select a style for a heading. So that goes back to the Home tab. So if you go Home, and you go far to the right, you find that Styles drop-down box. You've got all kinds of different options there. Why don't I do heading 1, fine. What this does is it tells Word that you're starting a section of your document, and it will correlate that section to your table of contents. So regardless where it is in your document, Word will know what page it starts, okay? So I'm just going to type introduction here. And maybe that's font size 16, so that's plenty. Don't need to make it larger. And then when you do a hard return, it's going to go back to a standard typeface, so it's not going to be heading anymore. This means if you add additional sections, you'd have to go back to make a new heading, okay? That's how it's going to keep track. All right, and I'm just gonna set my formatting here. Double space, so I'll put spacing 2. If you want to change the font, it's okay, but please understand, I'm looking for something close to Times or Times New Roman font type size 12 with 1-inch margins. I don't want to have font size 18 or 105. We have 12 words and we're done with our paper. Well, no, that's not the goal, right? So I think you understand what I'm saying. I'm fine with Calibri, but it has to be like similar to what we'd expect for Times. So maybe I just say something like Wilhelm Röntgen was born, I don't know, somewhere in probably Germany. This, of course, is not something that you would be typing because it really is gibberish. But the other interesting part is when we want to put in citations. And I'm not sure how you've been instructed with that. Inline citations, where you've taken a quote from somebody's work and you're trying to give credit to it. There are lots of different ways to do that. Fortunately, Microsoft Word has a built-in function that allows you to do that. And I want to show you that next. So let's say that I pull a quote from a source. I don't know, maybe it's a book and it's written by a particular person named Scheele. So let's see. I would say something like, according to Scheele, Röntgen was a naturalist curious in the workings of nature. Fact or fiction, I have no idea. I'm just making stuff up here. But I want to give credit now, right? Because that's the point. When we do a citation, we're giving credit to someone who's done the work. You don't have to type any of this, of course, it's just an example. But here, I'm going to insert a citation for that statement because those are not my words. So what I want to do is go to the tab that says References. Do you see a button there that might help? Insert citation. So when I click on Insert Citation, this is what comes up. It's kind of slick because it tells you what you need. It prompts you for what information you need to cite that person properly. So this book was written by Scheele, Wolfgang P. and Scheibel, Rolf, no, hold on. Katrina, fine. J, fine. And the title of the book is, let's see, Röntgen in Review. Okay. And the city in which it was published was Munchen. Munchen. Okay. And the publisher is going to be Schultz Incorporated. Okay. And the year is going to be 1997. Fine. Okay. And if you want more information of other things to put in, you can have, if there's volumes, so the country would be Deutsch, yeah. Okay. And number of volumes, pages. That's really nice when you use books. It's helpful to the reader to find that information. So let's say 1067 to 1100, or 1100. Yeah, fine. Okay? And then I just hit enter. Now look what happens. A number pops up. That number correlates to that source. Okay? Yeah.
Is it APA or?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, totally fine. The great thing about Word is, if you start in one format, you can change it and it'll update everything for you. Oh my gosh, is that ever cool? Yeah. So here, I've selected IEEE. I like it, it's quicker. But you could, of course, go to MLA or APA So if you see, if I just do MLA, it switches automatically to the proper formatting, which is the author. If I do APA, okay, it gives the date with it. And it'll do the whole document, not just that one citation, so that's really kind of a neat deal. I'll stick with IEEE. If it was a direct quote, you might remember from your English teaching instruction that you would need to incorporate a page number on which that direct quote was found. So here's how you do, look here. You select your citation and you do the little drop down and you can do edit this citation. And it allows you to say it's on a certain page. So I'll attend, whoops, wow, that's a bit much. 1068, bang, look at that right there, okay? And again, if I wanted to switch it to APA, while there, gives the author's name, the date, and the page number. That's a really good deal, okay? So I'll switch it back IEEE. Okay. And then, so let's say, then it's verified, let's see, okay, according to, so I want to say, yeah, likewise, let's see. I need a good German name. Anybody? Huh?
Oh.
Last name. Last name. Why can't I think? I'm gonna, you know.
Schultz? Windows.
Windhaus. Let's see, now it's H-A-U-S, there we go. Likewise, Windhaus has agreed that Röntgen was a child prodigy. Okay, so now I need a new citation, right? Okay, so then I would insert a citation and I would say Windhaus Klaus R. and Anders Macker, Bridget Birgit, no Bridget. Okay, and then the title is Röntgen as a youngster, and the city is going to be Berlin, and the publisher is going to be Schultz et al. Schultz Inc. Lots of books, and say 2004. So there's my second citation. Right? Now, if you find that you're typing along, so you are typing along, and you want to add another citation from the same source. Okay, look, watch now. The next citation, okay, you go here, insert citation, citations, you can click on one of these and it'll put it up in the same source. You just change the page number or whatnot. See, you can just go to your list, your master list of citations, and click on it and add it as you go, so you don't have to retype it. I told you, I'm lazy this way. I'm sorry, it's just how I am. But I think it's just so easy to do it that way. So page break, and then I would say maybe concluding remarks. So as a reminder, under styles, I go back to heading 1, and I'd say conclusions. Okay? And I'd have a couple of pages worth of information. So once again, we have our title page, we have our table of contents. Now watch what happens for there. Because I added a couple of sections, I'd like to find out what page numbers those are on. So I click on that box that has table of contents, we made that, and then I say update table. Look at that. There's my introduction, that's found on page 2. Here are my conclusions, that's found on page 3. What am I missing, folks? Works cited, exactly. So I'm going to insert another page break, and it's not going to be on the insert tab, it'll be on the references tab. So let's see here, references, bibliography, and I choose works cited. Look at that. Done. That's pretty cool. If you add more sources, to edit it, you simply go back here and say update citations and bibliography. You can also convert it to static text if you don't like the way it looks when you're done. I like to just leave it as update citations bibliography. It's a section. If I change my formatting now, if I want to go to APA, I say, whoops, the teacher said APA, darn it, I did IEEE. So you do APA, and now if you go back and you investigate your paper, those have been changed. Not only that, but also your works cited has been changed. So it goes to the format that you're required to use. Page numbers. If you want to put in page numbers, that's on the Insert tab, I think. There it is, under Header and Footer. Page number, and I have a choice. Personally, I like to put them on the bottom right. If you don't like doing it that way, you can make a footer, and the footer can have page numbers too. So I can do blank, just like some of your teachers might ask you to put your last name on the bottom of each page. And then here, under this section, I think I can add page numbers there. Okay. And then, when you're all said and done, I can eliminate that piece there, and then I go to my paper, and I see that all my page numbers now, all my pages have numbers at the bottom, and it even skipped the title page, because that's not supposed to count, see? It's not supposed to be there, no page numbers there. So there you've got your title page, your table of contents that's numbered. On the bottom of each page you've got your name, so that things are kept track of. I think there's a function that you can add the date, probably put in the date if you wanted, so all of that would be there. Are there any other questions that you might have about what I just showed you, or other functions that you would normally put in a paper? So I'm going to put this video up for your benefit. If that's helpful for you, feel free to use it. Don't think that you have to. One other thing though, before we leave the lab today, I want to ensure that we can save our papers. So I'm going to try a save as, and I've got the OneDrive enabled. You may not, it's okay. I think you can save it to the computer on which you're working. But remember, when you come in next week, to have be using the same computer, and then it should show up. So I'm going to try it just to make sure. So I'll save it to there. I'll put it in my documents, and then I'll do OK. I'm going to quit the program entirely. I'm going to reload it and make sure that it comes up. So I'll bring this back over here. Okay. So I reinitiated the program. I'm going to try opening. Go to OneDrive Personal Documents, and it called it the table of contents. Of course, you'd be more sophisticated. You have a different name. But then I open it up, and there it is. Everything as I left it. So that really is the basis of your paper right there. If you were kind of working along with me, you can just fill in the missing pieces now, all right? And if you want to work on it at home, I suppose it's fine because you have OneDrive. But I'm going to require of you two things. One, I'm going to put 2 Dropboxes on Schoology. 2 Dropboxes on Schoology. Each day that you finish in class, I'd like you to update the paper for where it stands. So before the end of the class, update your paper. You can send it to me as a PDF, I don't care, but update your progress each day. So you'll have 2 separate submissions, one on Monday, one on Tuesday. By the end of the term, I'm going to have a Dropbox for your final draft, the final paper, to which you'll upload that 3rd document there. And because I'm an old timer, I'm going to want you to have the paper copy turned to me as well. That's going to be in January. So you have time, but at least this gives you a head start. My gosh, maybe you even get most of it done, you know, before the end of, before Thanksgiving, or before the end of just November. So again, for SITS chemistry, that's what I'm expecting. For the other classes, I've been different in terms of my expectations, and I voiced that for. Questions you have? Yes?
Not counting title and table of contents, how many pages is this?
Minimum of 3. Don't make it more than 5. It's too much.
What's the max font?
Max font is font type 12. If you use the headings and there's a little space, I don't mind. But we want to aim for 3 full pages. That's for the SITS course. 2 pages for the general chemistry and the general physics. SITS physics will have the same recommendations. Yes?
So like for the 2 first term units, what do you expect?
So I'd like to see the document that you have to date. So by the end of class on Monday, you'll upload your first version to that Schoology page.
But I guess I'm asking like how far did you want us to?
That's what I want to see. You know, how far did you get? If you get it done, awesome, right? And then the second day, maybe you're making revisions, you're doing spelling checks, you're doing some final formatting things, and the final one goes up. That's cool, fine, you can be done. I'll still want the final draft uploaded in January. Yeah,
Okay, so you said that like 3 pages is the minimum?
Correct.
So would that like default be a C or like?
when I say understand what that means, the basis for this longer is not always better. I do look at quality. So if you have a high quality paper, you know, so you've got a lot of good information, your sources are awesome, and you're able to get that done in 3 pages, wonderful.
Okay.
That will not exclude you.
Okay.
But if it's 3 pages of ho hum, you know, that's sort of, we're in a bar. Yeah. More questions? Yep.
If our title page asks for a date on it, what do you want us to put?
Oh, good question, because that might change, yeah? So start with Monday's date, or if you have today's date, no problem. The document you submit next week on each day is gonna be time-stamped anyway, so I'll know what it is.
Okay.
What I'd like to see is change from day 1 to day 2, right? So we have additions, multiple things put in there. I say, how many sources? 3 sources, do I say? Is that minimum? I can't remember what's on your paper. What's on your paper? 3? 3 is okay. 5 is better. 10's better yet. It's nice to have lots of different sources. That's part of the exercise I'm asking you to look at. When you write papers in science, you want to make sure that you have really good, strong resources. Wikipedia is mediocre. If you drill down to the bottom and you find links, and those links take you to a peer-reviewed document, like a journal, yes, that's awesome. But Wikipedia in and of itself, good for information, questionable and sometimes in terms of content. That's why we use it very guardedly. Any other questions? Feel free to email. I cannot guarantee that I'm going to be prompt in my reply, but I will do the best that I can if I can help you. All right?